It is showtime now. We've been waiting for this time, either one way or another, and to get the green light from the universe for a long time to come, and now it is here. If you would ask me, the most crucial factor that we need to remember in any given eclipse or a powerful time like a full moon and a new moon is to remember that we are still the creator of our own reality, that we are the operant power in the midst of chaos, in the midst of unknown. And eclipses or these big times are the times that doom and gloom scenarios on the internet get rise, or we may feel a little bit more agitated. The emotions come to surface due to very scientific and physiological reasons of the power that's coming from the moon and the planetary movements and all. So in the midst of this eclipse season, what you need to know in order to maintain that you are still the operant power of your life, in order to maintain and feel solid within this knowing what you need to do so that you will not get caught up with the doom and gloom scenarios and do not give in your power to doubt, worry, and fear. This video is not a traditional astrological video. This is a guided intuitive message that I've channeled for the specific time, which is this time the new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. So please watch this video from this point of view, and I hope you will get the best of this and use this information and guided messages in your unique circumstances. My first message for you for this time is please stop looking at the mirror. You know that concept, right? I mean, everything that we see on the outside world is just a mere reflection of what is going on inside, internally. And what I mean by that is what we feel, how we speak to ourselves, what kind of thoughts that's going on in our mind on a day-to-day basis. And these are just the causes of what is happening as an effect on the outside world. And there is this analogy, I really like it. You might have heard before, but I really like it. And sometimes it really helps to keep hearing the similar examples so that we will really internalize those teachings. Even though we know on a mental level, it may not just, travel deeper and deeper on the soul level. For that to happen, we just need to keep hearing those messages. So when we are not happy with the reflection on the mirror, on a physical life, we never go and attack the mirror to change it, right? We just go internally, and if you don't like something that we see on our face, we just go and try to change it on our face, not to go and change it on the mirror or hope that it will change without me actually doing anything physically on my face. So, but this is actually, we know this information, and the reality works exactly the same way, but we still keep hoping that our external circumstances, our life that's happening outside of us, our current situations, the people that we interact with will change magically without we changing ourselves and the way how we think about them, the way how we speak about them, the way how we see those circumstances and situations and the people and our desires unfolding. And without looking our relationship with those outside factors, we magically hope that the mirror will change. This time, the new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aries, is just a very big wake-up call. It's maybe like the last call kind of announcement, like telling you that please stop looking at the mirror. Please internalize this teaching. You may know that teaching for a long time, or you may just heard about it recently, Just please internalize this. Please stop blaming what's going on outside of yourself. You always have a choice. You are the creator of your own reality. You are the operant power of your life. You have the choice. Either you can just remove yourself, detach yourselves from the things that's happening on your life which you are not happy about, or you can altogether change your perspective about those things. Nothing is happening, to you. Everything is happening for you. Universe is so wise and loving. I love this term. It's a term that Nadia Shah, an astrologer, she uses most of the time. I love this word, actually. I love this phrase. Universe is wise and loving. Nothing is happening to hinder us. Nothing is happening to just put us on a box, or just, show us the hard way of doing things. It just tries to align us with our path. And eclipse times are wonderful times to show us like powerful messages and events that's happening on the outside, maybe to really reflect us what is going on really on the mirror, which is a reflection of our internal world. But it is not just to makes us hurt or upset or sad, but just to help us align with a more wise and loving attitude towards life. So what kind of events that's happening on your life at this moment that you know how to change? You've been like doing a good work maybe by looking at yourself, but you were like kind of going back and forth, but you were not you weren't like feeling very strong in your foundation within the knowing that you are the creator of your own reality and life is just a mere reflection. So which areas that you can have a look in your life that you've been keep repeating the same patterns, and you get upset with yourself just because you almost like know the knowledge but you cannot pass the exam because you just caught up with anxiety, fear and doubt when the exam paper is in front of you. This is how it happens. That's why we need to repeat certain teachings for them to be embodied really, because when we're in the midst of the unknown or the chaos, it might be hard to detach ourselves and see the things from a higher point of view and see ourselves like, oh, okay, now I see why this thing is happening to me, because of how I speak, because of what I expect to happen. Life is just showing me that you are right, because every time, anytime, what you think, you're right. You may think that, oh, my luck, I have no luck in life. You're right. If you say that I'm always a lucky person, I always get this, whatever I want, like very easily, you're right too. Life is just reflecting your feelings and thoughts about the life itself and about yourself. So just a look at the things that are not going well in your life, the things that but you cannot, because they are not really like embodied within your life, and like a behavioral pattern, that they are not a behavioral pattern in your life just yet, so that you cannot just detach yourself and see again from a higher point of view that what is happening for you is just like a reflection, a mere reflection, but instead you just get upset, you just get angry, you just throw the towel, you feel desperate, like, oh, it's not gonna happen to me, I've tried many times, no, it's just I'm just fooling myself, it's never gonna work, or things like that, rather than like giving in to the story that you don't have the power of your life, Instead, remember that, and make a promise to yourself that this big time, this eclipse, is going to be a time that I will do things in a different way, in a radically different way. I will change you don't have to go about and take any action. It's just an internal shift. That just promise yourself that you will again and again and again remind yourself that life is just a mere reflection. Whatever you see outside that you don't like is happening. It's just a reflection. Your point of view, your thinking patterns, your understanding about life, and your perspective, and nothing else. And you have the power to change it, because no matter what happens, you're the creator of your own reality, and you are the operant power. You are in the driver's seat. My second guided message for you for this time is make sure that your life is about a relationship between you and you, but no one and nothing else. Well, you may argue that yes, of course, my life is about myself. I am like an individual person, that I have my freedom and all. But believe me or not, we just give our power away to it may not be necessarily to a certain people, but to certain thought patterns and certain information that may not be helping us. For example, during those like powerful times like eclipses and new moons and full moons, you may find a lot of content, which some of them you may find so helpful. However, some of them, they may only be there to just feed your fears and your doubts and your insecurities. Because yes, that's correct that eclipse times are like, a time that heightens, emotions are heightened during those times, and chaos may be happening, like people may act in all those like funky ways during those times. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you lose power of your own life. But because you keep hearing on the internet maybe that, oh, this is like, it's gonna be a very destructive eclipse, it's gonna be a bag, it's a big event, it's a huge thing, but all this like in a negative way, that they are trying to hook you into the content by using your doubts and your fears and your insecurities, because you don't trust yourself and you don't trust that you are sitting in the driver's seat no matter what's happening outside of your life. You may put someone or some kind of thought pattern in this relationship between you and the you. What I mean by you and you is like you is your physical body, like your physical vessel in this 3D world, and the you is the metaphysical you, which is your like higher self, your higher self, that your soul maybe. And you can just give like different names to that part of yourself, your inner knowing and all, the inner knowing, this inner, the thing that speaks to you, but it's not your mind, like your heart space and so on. So be mindful that no matter what is happening on the outside, you still keep connected with you and you, because no matter how many different thought patterns, like ideas, knowledge, realities, and whatever on the outside that you may like, that you may find that they're correct, that they're helpful, which is fine, remember and know that whatever you make it correct, it will be correct for you. And it doesn't have to be correct for someone else. You may believe 100% that something is right for you, and you may not, no matter what you do, you may not convince another person that it is correct as well. And they may have another point of view, and it may help them in a wonderful way. They make that point of view their reality and their truth. That's perfectly fine, because there are infinite number of possibilities, realities, truths and all. So make sure that no matter what is happening on the outside, no matter what kind of information that comes into your field, still you are walking on a path. And if you are serious to walk, like serious, meaning like if your enthusiasm is enough to pursue that desire and dream, and if you feel good while you're like following that goal, then keep going. Do not let anybody or anything else, any type of knowledge, information to intrude in with your knowing. We always have the right and the option to change our mind and to guide our desires and visions toward a different direction. We always have the right to amend and make some changes, but you will know it. And when you need to make some changes, probably it's not going to be fearful. But if you question yourself, and when you question yourself you feel fearful, you feel doubtful, then highly likely that it may not be coming from your inner self, but it's coming from the outside. Maybe you're trying to implement or like copy and paste somebody else's opinions into your own unique circumstances. So make sure that even you may not see like any physical changes in your reality just yet regarding your desires and dreams, still follow the path and be consistent, and know that you are the operant power. I don't know how many times I repeat it, but yes, that's really the point. And right now I'm reading this beautiful, wonderful book. It's called Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zeland. I mean, this book has been on my list for a long time, but I know that everything just happens on the right timing, and that was the time. Like, I've started reading it a month ago or something. It's a long book and I really want to savor it, every bit of it. And in this book it says about the people that we actually put in between us and between our relationship with ourselves and ourselves, between you and you. And he talks about that these services, and he talks about the people like astrologers, hierophants, prophecyers. It could be even like politicians, I might say, or it could be like, even he says like scientists or teachers. It could be, and anybody that we look up to. That's correct that we always learn things from other people, but some things may resonate, some things may not. And just because that person seems like a qualified person in certain areas doesn't mean that it will be a helpful truth to our life and to our reality. So that person might be a scientist, and we may get a lot of help, we may get a lot of new things, we may learn a lot of new things from their point of view. But if something doesn't feel right with us, we always have the right to dismiss that information. We don't have to take everything in just because those people have like certain qualifications. So he says something in that, like closer to that what I was just describing, and he says that these services are only needed by people who decide to choose life as subconscious dreaming, and these will always be the overwhelming majority. Yes, we do it, like the overwhelming majority of people. We even sometimes do that. We take other people's word, but like to heart, and we just abandon our feelings and abandon our inner knowing and our intuition most of the time. Yet, if you intend to transform your life into lucid dreaming that you can control, then you will undoubtedly no longer require the services of mirror makers. You remember that I was talking about the mirror. So mirror makers, mirror your life, the life, you don't need anybody else to carve your way and create your life. You don't need a mirror maker. You make your own mirror. You make your own life. By the way, if you're like me and you love reading books, I invite you to follow me on my Instagram account, Manifest with Books. I love reading these books, from various writers, and I love collecting these little pieces of confirmations that all talk about a single truth in life, actually. So if you're someone who resonate with these knowledge that and the quotes that I just read from this book, and there are like thousands of them actually, but I can only share like a handful of them, then I want to see you joining me. I would love to see you joining me on my Instagram account. Currently I'm reading Reality Transurfing, but every month or every 2 weeks I change and share like another book and share quotes from those books. And if you feel like you will enjoy that type of information, then I want to see you joining me there. Last but not least, as I said in the beginning, it is showtime. You might have been waiting for this time for a long time to come, and now it is here. You might have been working on a project that's near and dear to your heart. You might be looking for ways to change a sticky pattern in your life, or you may be looking for ways to embody a new version of yourself, and you're working on it for a while, but you see this back and forth, and you are like, yearning for a consistency in your life, and now it is your time. What are you looking for is coming to you now. Eckhart Tolle says that no matter what is happening in my life, I refuse to create no more suffering for myself. No matter what is happening in my life, in the mirror, in the outside world, I refuse to create no more suffering for myself. It is actually a simple decision. You may think that and feel that I am a victim of a certain pattern, I'm a victim of a certain circumstance, I'm a victim of a certain group of people or people in your life. It is actually just a perspective, and it's your perception, and you can change the perception of your life because you are the creator of your own reality. Either you detach yourself, or you speak up, or you make a decision, you act in a certain way, you promise yourself that you follow through a new behavioral pattern. It could be anything. You may decide to leave something behind, you may decide to move on, but no matter what is happening on the outside of my life, I choose not to create any more suffering for myself. This is another important motto of this time, because sometimes if we feel powerless, sometimes we feel like, oh, no matter what I do, things doesn't change, or seems like it's not like, nothing is happening on the outside, but actually it is not correct. We always have the power, be it a perspective change or a physical action. It doesn't have to be going and taking an action to change circumstances majority of the time. It sometimes doesn't even require that. Sometimes what our life requires is just a simple mindset shift. You may decide to see things from a totally different point of view. The things that you feel like hurt you the most, or the things that you kind of keep like repeating, or like keep stumbling upon, you don't have to necessarily go out and do some changes and go that, and then remove that block that you keep stumbling upon. But the way how you look at that stumbling block and changing your perspective and seeing it like maybe a detour or maybe something that you need to look within. It's not a curse, but it's actually a blessing maybe. And the moment you change your perspective about what is happening on the outside, you change the way how you feel in an instant, you know, like instantly. You don't even need to go and do any physical actions. So this time look at what is the pain point of your life. We all have certain areas in our life that they are like a constant pain points. So what is this one thing for you, or like two things, or like multiple things? And make a promise to yourself that you are not going to drag them along with this new era that we're entering right now, with this powerful new moon solar eclipse, and leave them behind. You don't have to physically leave anything, any circumstances, or whatever you name it, but energetically just refuse that. I am not going to allow those pain points to have the upper hand in my life anymore, and just make a decision and align with that decision. Just, you know, just a simple decision is enough. You don't have to change anything on a physical level. And promise yourself that no matter what is going on or happening in my life, I'm refusing to create any more suffering for myself, any more pain for myself. So I hope that this video and the points that we covered in this video help you in some way and spark a light about your unique circumstances in your journey. I wish all of you a wonderful eclipse time, wonderful revelations and breakthroughs. Believe me, when we pass through this time, and normally the eclipses and their effects last for 6 months, they say, but doesn't matter, a change can happen even in an instant. Doesn't matter, the timing doesn't matter. Believe me, then when we pass through this time, things will look so much different. Maybe you will say goodbye to these, you know, big patterns and those big chapters of your life, and you will, you know, wave them, you know, leaving you for the good, and you will welcome the new with this new moon solar eclipse in Aries. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful time. I hope to see you very soon in the next video. Take care, please.